Ellarigu Namaskara, and I hope you all are doing good. Welcome back to the Little Things, and today's video is a really special one because I'm just about to make one of my dream come true. To know more about it, keep watching. Okay, I get it. You just watched the intro and you're like, okay, it's a cooking video. What does that have to do with your dream? For me to explain that to you, I'll have to take you back in time. So be ready for some time traveling, okay? Let me be honest with you guys here. Back in India, before my marriage, I didn't know any cooking. All that I knew to do was to prepare a perfectly round chapati, courtesy my ma, and a nice glass of tea, thanks to my pa. And I was pretty good at them, okay? Now please don't think that I was some spoiled brat or pampered princess of my parents, not at all. In fact, I do remember my ma, she used to always be behind me asking me to learn cooking. To quote her own words, she would be like, ಏನಾದರೂ ಅಡುಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಮದುವೆ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ which translates to learn some cooking. You will not understand all this right now. Once you get married and you have a family, that's when you will understand what I'm trying to say. Now it was a phase in my life actually wherein I had given myself the privilege to not learn any cooking because I used to hate cooking. I know all my friends right now would be like, yeah, we have heard a lot of that, because I would constantly say this to them that I hate cooking. Now please don't get me wrong, it's not like I hate food or something. I absolutely love food. I'm a big time foodie and I love watching cookery shows. In fact, MasterChef Australia is my most favorite show. And that reminds me of something funny. You know how dads are, right? They know that you don't know any cooking and they also want to tell you to learn some cooking because it's high time, but they don't want to be aggressive with you and they have their own way to convey this to you, and my pa had his own way. So whenever I used to watch MasterChef, he would come to me and he would be like, ಏನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಶೋನ ಇಷ್ಟು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂದ ನೋಡ್ತೀಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದರಿಂದಾನೇ ಏನಾದರೂ ರೆಸಿಪೀಸ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡು. So basically he's just coaxing me to learn cooking, but unfortunately it never used to work because my standard reply to this always used to be like, Pam, I like watching food being prepared. That doesn't mean that I actually love cooking. There's a difference between the two. But sadly nobody used to understand me. I think I just wanted the best part about cooking, which according to me at least was to watch the food being prepared and then to relish the delicious food, and prepping and cooking didn't make to that list. Now that I think of it, I just wonder how wrong was I about cooking. I don't know how many of you can relate to me, but I never understood the concept of cooking being therapeutic. You know, whenever people used to say that cooking makes them feel calm, it helps them to relax and rewind, I would be like, yeah, right, because cooking for me used to mean stress, anxiety, fear of cooking something horrible, people eating it and telling it to me that you were bad at it, fear of failing, fear of things not being under my control and things not going as per my plans, and the biggest fear of all, the fear to turn off the pressure cooker. Now I think this is the most responsible job which our Indian mothers think they can trust us with. But please, someone tell them, at least for some of us it's not fun and we're not cut out for it. At least for me, it used to feel like a commando mission. Just think about it, okay? First of all, you will have to keep the count of number of whistles, which could change depending upon whether it's rice or dal in the pressure cooker. And then you think that you're all cool and stuff and you think that you can manage keeping the count while watching your favorite cartoon. So here you are glued to the TV screen. Shaggy, Scooby and the gang are about to find out who this fake ghost is, and then your mom starts yelling from the bathroom that it's already the fourth whistle. Why don't you go and turn it off? And that's when you realize it's a rice day and you had to turn it off at the third whistle. So now you're all panicky, you run to the kitchen and then you stop. You don't enter the kitchen. You stop at the threshold and then you wait. Because the crazy pressure cooker is going shh at the fourth whistle. Because guys, that's the kind of risk which I have never took in my life, nor do I have any plans of taking anytime soon. And I know exactly why do they call it a pressure cooker. Because the pressure it creates inside is nothing when compared to the pressure it creates on the person on whom is the responsibility to turn it off. And now I know most of you would be wondering why is she behind the life of a poor pressure cooker. I do have a reason here, okay? Rather a sad one though. I don't want to get into the details, but let's just say that my ma, she met with an accident and had to be hospitalized, and that had to do something with the pressure cooker in a kitchen. So my fear is a valid one. So now you know why I used to hate cooking so much, and frankly speaking, things didn't change much even after marriage. Of course I did start cooking a little bit, but still the things were same, my fears were the same. And to add to this, I had started missing my ma's food terribly, which I still do till date. I think most of you would agree with me on this that our favorite food is our mom's food, right? Of course there could be exceptions to this. Your dad might be a wonderful chef, or you love the delicacies prepared by your grandmother. But what I'm trying to say is we all have that one person whose food is our favorite. Maybe because it is so comforting and familiar, and who knows, maybe they actually add that magic ingredient called love in their food. Of course, except for the cases when they're not at all in the mood to cook and you pester them to cook something for you. Trust me and my Anna have gone through many such disasters in life, or should I say disasters. So basically, all I'm trying to say to you is that my ma's food is my favorite food in the world. Not that I have tasted everything that this beautiful world has to offer, but I know deep down that the Anna and Bele Tove combo prepared by my ma is my soul food, and nothing in this world can replace that. So now let's talk about that dream of mine. You know, it's been a dream of mine for a very long time now that the world should know my mom, her food, her cooking, her recipes. I want everyone to try it out, and I want to hold on to each one of her recipes very close to my heart. I know practically it might not be possible right now because I'm here in Canada and she is in India. But guys, if there's something that my life has taught me a couple of times actually, is that all that we have is now. Nobody is promising us a tomorrow, right? So whatever we have to do, we got to do it now. So I don't want to delay this any further because I have wasted enough time already. So starting from today, every month, I would like to share with you all a recipe or two from my ma's kitchen, and I really hope that you will all try out her recipes and enjoy her food just like the way I do. Now that I have decided that I'll be doing this video series, the next big task was which dish should I prepare the first, because there were just so many options and I was really confused. And then something happened. My ma, she calls me up and she's like, guess what? I tried something new today. It's palak biryani and it tasted just like done biryani. Now for starters, who don't know what a done biryani is, it's a very famous biryani back in Bangalore, and it's actually served in a leaf bowl, hence the name Done Biryani. And trust me, it's amazingly delicious. And ever since turning into a vegetarian, if I do miss something very badly, then it has to be the biryani rice. So here I was in Canada missing my ma, her food, the biryani rice, and then she talks about palak biryani, and guys, FOMO just got too real too quick. So I was like, why not try this dish itself? And also guys, think about it. Even at this age, if she is enthusiastic enough to try out something new, then that's the lesson that I really want to learn from her. So this dish represents that for me. Now I really don't know how the original dish by her tasted like, but for my credit, I am good at following instructions. So hopefully this will turn out good. So enough of me talking, let's get started with the cooking. Guys, trust me when I say this, it was amazing. It was so tempting that my husband and we forgot that we had to actually click a couple of shots for the thumbnail of this video, and we dived right into it. Thanks to my mom who called up midway to check on us and to see how things turned out. That's when we realized that we had to click the pictures. So midway while eating, we stopped and clicked a couple of pictures. It was so hot and soft and yummy that 10 minutes flat we finished off everything. So please guys, do yourself a favor, try out this recipe. I'm sure you're gonna love it. I do have one last thing to tell, and this is to my ma. Ma, I miss you, I love you, I'm so proud of you, and thank you Nanamma Agitake. And this video series is dedicated to you and to all those people. It could be parents, children, grandparents, grandkids, husband, wife, friends or colleagues, to all those relationships which are all bound together with a special bond called the love for food. I really hope that you guys have liked this video, and also share this video with anyone who you think might love this recipe. Please do like, share and subscribe to the channel. I guess that's it for the day guys, and I hope to see you all soon in my next video. I wish for all of us to be blessed with abundant love, peace and happiness. Take care, and do remember, life's all about the little things.